Hi, Dr. Paul Haider here. You know, this journey of enlightenment, this journey of moving forward with our lives is different for every different person, and it's not something that we can make happen for anybody. We do it as it's supposed to come. And on my journey, I've had the actual experience of seeing changes in my body, seeing changes in my spirit, and seeing changes in my attitude. And a lot of that has come about because I've been exploring from the inside out. And the more I go in, the more I find out about who I am deep down inside, so I can make changes in becoming that which is all-knowing and expanding. Well, I'm just at the beginning, and as all of us are. But if we don't go inside, we can't expand upon that. It's everything in medicine. Hippocrates says everything begins in the gut, which is inside. As far as disease goes, so everything as far as dis-ease goes in our lives begins inside. So we have to go in and get in touch with that so that we can attain a sense of peace inside and be able to find that which is important. I know a man that worked for 30 years at a job that he really hated. And a lot of times we would sit there and do nothing all day. But he was stuck with it. And then I knew another man that he worked in the same area, and he left. Went on to do bigger and better things, and decided that his life was too short to be sitting around or doing something he didn't like. It wasn't easy for the man that left. But eventually he went on to do bigger and better things, and he had a big family and enjoyed his life. Whereas the man who was always stuck, ended up retiring and did a couple things, but on the average he was still stuck and really never enjoyed life at all. And every time he would go to check out what was going on the inside with him, he would just stop and not do anything more. Where the other man who went off to do something big, he would go inside and check with himself and see what was going on and why he was feeling ill at ease, and made changes in his life accordingly. And the man that went on to make changes in his life became very happy. Whereas the other man was stuck. He was kind of waiting for life to end. Never really did anything, and just kind of sitting around, and became kind of negative in general. And towards the end of his life, he was kind of alone, which is kind of sad, because we push everything away. We keep everybody away, and because we're not happy, we're ill at ease inside, and we never had the ability to make a change. And change is all important. It is our life. And it's all great if a person decides to stay stuck. That's who they are and what they decide to do. And all the more power to them. But to those people who decide, there's got to be something better. And I want to make a change. I want to do something to help people. I want to do something that I feel fulfilled with. All the more power to them also. We can have a great sense of peace inside, but it comes with starting to look inside. I see it as we start out with a single line of light. It runs from the base of our spine all the way up into the skull cavity, and that's light is illuminated there all the time, and it goes together with the meridians of our body. And then eventually, when we get to a certain point of reaching out and understanding ourselves and being of service to people, two other meridians of light light up on each side of that single meridian, and they go all the way up also. And at that point, there are 7 rays of light which open up all around that person, and their aura becomes totally different. You might call it mind, body, spirit, relationship, social life, financial life, core beliefs, or the beginning, the end, the ability to see into the light, the ability to understand the darkness, and on and on. And those allow us to have great peace. And whenever we see somebody stuck, we just send them prayers and know that this is where they're supposed to be, and maybe in the next life things will be different. We just pray that it will be. There's something they're learning along this path, and we have to allow ourselves to know that. Eventually, when we get to an even higher state, we have enveloped a huge amount of light around us, and we start being more and more selfless all the time. And at a certain point we are selfish, and we're just taking care of our own needs. Then we become selfish and selfless at the same time. That's moving up the ladder a little bit. And we become more selfless, and then eventually we think only of doing what is truth, love, and light. And as we move in that direction, we see people like divine entities like Christ and Sai Baba, Ramana, Maharishi Marana, back there, Divine Mother Amma, Buddha, and many others who got to that point where they weren't interested in the self, they were interested in that self, because they understood themselves to be all of it. And when we get to that point, it's all right to accept who those people are. And a lot of times it's hard for us as we begin our journey to accept people for who they are. Look at Christopher Reeves. Even though he was a man who lived in an iron lung when he slept and got up, and he would cry for 20 minutes first thing in the morning, and he would get up and go out and be an inspiration for other people. Now there's a man who is selfless. And I know a man who was born with physical deformities. He has a huge head and a very tiny little body, and he is still able to get around in a wheelchair, and he's a photographer. Lo and behold, that man is a photographer, and that's very amazing. And yet we have people who stay stuck. And if we have all kinds of limitations, if we can have physical limitations, but the most damaging of all is that of the limitations of our own mind and spirit. But once we get past that, once we move past that, we're able to look inside and see, I'm bigger than this. I can overcome this challenge, and I can inspire other people. Then, at that point, we make that great uplifting, and we see those other 2 meridians of light change within us. It's powerful. And every one of us is on a different journey. I am on a different journey, you're on a different journey, everyone. And we'll have to figure this out on our own, in this life or another. And we'll all move towards that light eventually. Some of us are like moths that are far away from the light, and some are circling right around it. But eventually we all come to that light, and we merge with the light and become one with the light. And what a glorious day that will be. I love you.